Cestička k Mayrovce ušlapaná, šla po ní dívenka uplakaná.
People have forever been striving to benefit from the mineral resources available in nature. Beginning with surface mining, they soon began to penetrate the depths of the earth, thus creating a new underground world. The industrial beginnings of mining in the Kladno region date back to the first half of the 19th century. The boom in coal mining was so massive that around 1870 Kladno coalfields had already been servicing the entire Czech lands as the major coal supplier. It was then, in 1874, when one of the coal companies, Pražská železářská, began to dig a new pit in Vinařice near Kladno. The mine, known as Mayrau, but promptly nicknamed mayrovka by the locals, soon became one of the most renowned Kladno mines, also perhaps owing to the song about it. Please let us take you for a walk through the Mayrovka. Mayrovka is situated at the foot of a range of hills running from Vinařice towards the town of Kladno. If you climb the mining tower and look around the country to see the layout of buildings, you will find that they are still used in much the same way as intended by the ancestors who erected them here some 120 years ago. The two mine buildings are original and have stood the test of time, and it is the one that belongs to Mayrovka which harbors perhaps the greatest surface technical treasure, an Art Nouveau steam mining machine, originally designed for seacraft, now air-driven. It is not without a sense of uneasiness that we leave the machine, but we are bound to explore the depths of the Mayrau mine. We are now entering the feeding station and, checking out the construction, perhaps feel as though we have suddenly arrived in one of those Jules Verne novels. Everything is still functional and ready to serve its purpose, which inspires awe and respect for the work of our ancestors. We can hear the bell ringing and announcing that the cage lift is approaching. The Mayrau mine was dug to a depth of 527 meters. The lined pit has two mining sections and a climbing section. The pit is also referred to as the flea bag, a trivial designation dating back to the time when the pit was being excavated, pointing out that the digging works were mostly handled by the local down and outs. The signal sound marks the end of the cage descent, and we are stepping out into the feeding station where the automatic cars are fed into the cages and pulled out to the surface. Getting off the cage, we are entering a labyrinth of miles-long mine tunnels. Each coal mine, including Mayrovka, comprises a number of mine tunnels, also referred to as crosscuts. These are dug outside the main coal seams, which allows them to achieve adequate service life. Throughout the entire existence of the mine, they serve the purposes of ventilation, movement of the laborers, transport of materials, and disposal of the coal. Many times you would be required to walk out of a couple of miles to get to the place where the coal is actually mined. The actual coal seam may be accessed by a number of tunnels reinforced with steel and sometimes, though in a lesser extent, even wooden structures. The times are gone when the entire tunnel mining was done manually, including the drilling works and loading the coal into the cars, and when horses were used to draw the coal to the cableway. Even the old lady Mayrovka has, despite its maturity, adopted the new technology combining coal cutters and drag chain and belt conveyors. The actual coal mining, in the conditions provided by a mine, which is so old, presents a number of complex issues. The coal supplies get thinner, while the number of aged tunnels and the seam potency remain immense. This is why a combination of modern technology and well-tried long-standing methods is applied in the mining process. The number of very complex machines present in the mine convert it into a minor underground engineering plant. The entire mine mechanism is controlled by service supervisors who have special technology at their disposal to minimize safety risks inherent in the mine. There is a depth of more than half a kilometer separating the mine from the ordinary life. As a system, the mine is isolated and left alone to deal with its own issues. The Mayrau mine tower wheels have now been spinning ceaselessly for 120 years. Each of their turns marks a point in the lives of the miners, technologists and craftsmen who come every day to take on their mining suit and set out for the underground world. What we may conceive as adventure is everyday hard labor for them. Generations of miners and technologists have been mining every day in Mayrovka to challenge their courage and resilience, digging tunnels and mining coal in the gloom of the shaft. Nature has often fought back, embittering the miners' lives by mine fires, quakes and pressures exerted by the overhead layers, which were so severe that the laboriously mined tunnels along with the reinforcement have often got literally squeezed and crushed. Mayrovka has also a couple of times asked the dearest price, the miners' lives. On the other hand, as the mother mine, it has been providing for hundreds of hard-working, honest families for 120 years now. The history of mining is as old as humankind itself. The current skeptical approach on the part of the society to mining is just an episode, a fleeting moment in the man's struggle against nature. And thus, let us please conclude this guide with a quotation from Jiří Agricola's 12 books on mining and metallurgy, published in 1556. As a people, miners are not to be looked at with contempt or disdain. To be sure, they are exposed to immense risks at work, at night and in the day. They show signs of extraordinary physical fitness. They must be trained in many fields and arts, philosophy to deal with nature, medicine to be able to help each other, astronomy to be able to determine the directional points, surveying to be able to dig the tunnels and seams, mathematics to count the labor and machine costs, engineering to create the structures on their own, geometry to be able to draw the maps and outline the machines, and last but not least, the mining law to prevent themselves from depriving anyone of anything. And these people have been creating the 120-year-long history of the Mayrovka mine.
Vzal jsem si do hlavy děvčátko z Ostravy, děvče prosté jako květ, s tou si budu rozumět, denně jí chodí cestou od Vítkovic. Má